y'all doing tonight? Hey, Barbera. All right, good to see y'all. Mike Gallo in the house. Hey, I want to mention someone real quick before I bust on CT. Randy Pausina, where are you? Are you still here with us? Is he out there? That's all right. Yeah. Former Assistant Secretary of Fisheries, Louisiana Wildlife and Fisheries, Randy Pausina, did a lot, probably more for Louisiana Wildlife and Fisheries in the state of Louisiana as the Assistant Secretary than any other.
It's why snapper season.
That's right. That's why we have a state snapper season.
That's right.
Randy Pausina, have a round of applause. In the state Now I'm sitting in the back of the room, CT, with a group of conservationists that are asking me that watch you on Fox 8 on your report. And I'm not going to mention their names, but it's a retired airline captain and a retired scrap worker and a current real estate agent from the North Shore that said, why doesn't CT throw any fish back? Everything goes into the ice chest. Would you like to answer that? Down to serious business. Who here fishes Lake Pontchartrain on a regular basis? Fantastic. So do I. And I am consumed with it. I'm going to give you my Lake Pontchartrain 101, if you will, if you will indulge me for just a couple of minutes. I love Lake Pontchartrain because it's extremely versatile. There's so many choices. Most of you probably live on the North Shore or right around here, but you got to realize you're 45, 50 minutes away from any launch on Lake Pontchartrain. Think about that. Go across the causeway. You go to Slidell. You can go to Kenner. You can go wherever you want and put in where the conditions are right. A couple of things that and of course I'm coming from Baton Rouge, so my choice is either I-12 or I-10. Unless I'm spending the night at CT's house, which usually ends up in the late morning because he doesn't like to get up early. Did you know that about CT? Yeah. Okay.
Wait, what's the name of your truck, sir?
Truck.
Yes, it is. Thank you very much. I rest my case.
And in case you didn't know this, we're really good friends. And I'm very good friends with Gallo as well. And he's going to talk bad about me when he gets up here too. And he's taught me most of what I know about Lake Pontchartrain. So, Lake Pontchartrain, several things you want to look at. Probably number one is wind, right? Where do you get the wind forecast? Weather Underground? Anybody use that? Anybody use a wind forecaster? You know the app? It's fantastic. I say it's wind forecaster. I'll show it to you on my phone. It's free and it's extremely accurate. It also predicts barometric pressure. Is that important? Of course it is. Dudley Vanderbilt will cancel a trip if the barometric pressure is over 30.30 and rising. I kid you not. He says the fish get lockjaw. Once the pressure starts to drop, you start to catch fish. Check that out. I'm not kidding you. I've done a little experimentation with it. We've actually fished at 30-40, 30-42, and as soon as the pressure, and that's above 30-30, obviously, do the math. As soon as the pressure starts dropping, the fish start biting. They say it's like fish being in a bowl and putting another bowl on top of it and pressing down on the water. Don't know. That's number one. Well, that's number two. Wind, barometric pressure. What's the third thing? Obviously. Tides? Right. All right, tides in Lake Pontchartrain. Who predicts tides in Lake Pontchartrain? No. Right. You know what you can do with the tides in Lake Pontchartrain? Throw them out of the window. Unless the conditions are just optimal. Unless the wind's not blowing, unless the wind hadn't blown in 4 or 5 days. Because guess what? Lake Pontchartrain's a big old bowl, right? Picture this with big old bowl. Wrigley's right here. Biggest way in and out. Second way in and out is what? Just to the south of there? Anybody? Chef Pax, thank you very much, sir. Chef. And the slowest way in and out at the south, Seabrook, which ain't happening because of the mist gone. It's blocked off. So, 3 ways for water to get in and out of the lake. So guess what? If you have an incoming tide and the lake's full of water, and you have an east wind for a couple of days, it keeps all the water in the lake. And you go out after that, and maybe you have no wind or maybe a west wind, and they say the tide's coming in. It's not coming in. It's dumping out of there like gangbusters. Which I think is one of the keys, and Mike Gallo will tell you this, I think. Keys to Lake Pontchartrain is moving water. So, you get out there and, don't look at the tides and say, oh, we don't have any tide moving tomorrow. You can look at the last couple of days and figure out, chances are something's going to move in the lake, and that's the beauty of the lake. Especially, we're not going to get on the causeway just yet. I'll touch on it. Nothing's happening on the causeway. But if you're in one part of the lake and nothing's happening, guess what you do? You go to some other point in the lake, find clearer water, maybe a little more salinity. You know where to find salinity in the lake? The salinity readings? Lake Pontchartrain Basin Foundation website. They have the salinities in the lake posted. I think it's daily.
No.
The higher the salinity, they don't?
Yeah, it's like once a month.
It's monthly?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a very good map. And it's very
It's
accurate.
very good, man.
And
Right.
very accurate.
And very accurate.
We have tested it.
I want to say that USGS has a couple of places
Yeah.
where you can get salinity. So, salinity, right. Wrigley's is one.
Four Horse Lake.
So, that's good stuff. Mike Gallo has what's called a YSI in his boat. It's a machine that the biologists that I work with, and I work with wildlife and fisheries right now, but I am not representing wildlife and fisheries right now. I'm just talking about Sam, Big Fish Charters, the guy you like to watch talk at fishing seminars. Anyhow, a YSI, you drop that anode in, and it tells you the salinity, it tells you the dissolved oxygen, it tells you all that kind of stuff. Because Mike is like this far from being a scientist. So, we covered barometric pressure, we covered wind, we covered tide. What didn't we cover, CT? What am I missing? Bait. Bait in clear water. There's a site that's called Modis, M-O-D-I-S. And I don't have the link with me, but if you grab me after the meeting, I'll give you my email address. And it is a satellite picture that NASA takes of the United States every day. And you can grab the southeastern portion of the United States,
Where the lake's clear, where it's muddy.
which encompasses Louisiana, and then you can zoom in on that to the highest resolution. And if there is no cloud cover, if there's no cloud cover that day or the day before, you have a clear picture of Lake Pontchartrain. It's incredible. And you can zoom in on that and see where all the silt is and see where the clean water is. I kid you not. It's incredible. A little bit of cloud cover, it's off. But with a clear satellite photo, I learned a long time ago in the Army, there's nothing like having eyes on the target. There's nothing like having information before you go fishing. I'm not going to stand up here and tell you how to catch fish because, sometimes I'm not so good at it. And we're all like that. But the more information you have before you go, the more confidence you have in yourself and the more chances you have of catching fish. Am I lying? Can I get somebody out there to talk to me?
Amen!
Gee whiz, I wouldn't really. Yeah, that's fun. Thank you. So, several places to go right now. My first choice would be to find grass beds. And there are a couple of places that have grass beds, especially if you're from the North Shore. You obviously are. Out of Mandeville Harbor, Bayou Lacombe, and Cape Bayou. Nothing but grass beds on both sides. Preferred bait, Maybe something really shallow under a cork, or perhaps a suspending bait, or a jerk bait. They named them after CT. Jerk bait. You know what I'm talking about, right? Just something that goes right over the top of the grass. There are also some grass beds, from what I understand, off the lake and beach that are producing. Now that's a little bit of a run, but once again, the beautiful thing about Lake Pontchartrain, you put in at Madisonville Harbor and nothing's happening on the North Shore, you know, it's 15 miles to the trestles. And the trestles are producing right now. Obviously, jigging, 3/8 ounce jig heads, and your favorite color. Berkeley Gulp, or Matrix, or whatever you like, whatever you have confidence in. That's the beauty of Lake Pontchartrain, I think. You can go wherever you want, especially if the weather's okay and the wind's not howling, right? I think I covered everything, I believe, that I have to offer. Question? Oh, the Causeway. Oh, man. It's my favorite place in the world to fish, by far, hands down. I'd fish the Causeway every day if I could, if the wind would permit. Or I'd get you ever see the bucket truck that check the pilings? They go up there and they drop the guy right down on the side of the, you know, if I could, I'd buy one of those and I'd just fish there. You know, it could be 4 foot seas and I'm sitting there jigging. I love it to death. Apparently it's not happening yet. And it's very early. You know, a lot of things are turning on early this year. The trestles, the Biloxi Marsh, all kinds of stuff is earlier than normal. Apparently the Causeway is not.
But it will.
It will, sooner or later. Hang on, Elliot, I'm coming to you. The Causeway is normally, you can normally count on April 15th, you know, and it's on. Something's happening out there. If you can get out there, the fish are there. It's a decent size. Some of the very few trips I've limited on the Causeway have been with Mike Gallo in the spring, mid-April. I mean, you catch them right, you figure out where they are on the bridge, and you got a lot of figuring to do because it's 26 miles long.
6,000 pounds.
So 6,000 pounds, that's right. It's a ball. Especially if it's not a windy day, you can go all over the place. If there are too many people in one place, if the guys are trolling, which isn't really fishing. My bad. I'm sorry if I make anybody mad. I apologize. And I don't like redfish. I'm gonna go on the record for saying that. And if a redfish's brain is this big, a trout's brain is this big. So, redfish are stupid. They can't help it. So, they'll hit anything that you put out there. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Well, we were fishing crawl, we were fishing the orange crawl. It doesn't matter, man. You can throw a towel or a shad rig or a bingo or whatever you want. Close is gonna hook in. Redfish going in, right?
Not all the time.
Do I have a witness? Elliot, if they're picky.
Amen.
If they're picky, they won't. Right, look, I'm just not a marsh pumpkin guy. I like trout.
So what's our techniques at the Causeway? To catch good trout?
Well, techniques deep water jigging. And it's a lot of fun. It's some people say it's difficult. It's really not that difficult. But what you have to remember is you're throwing into current. And you're throwing into current that is 14 feet of water. And when you what you're trying to do is you're trying to get an eddy normally behind a pilot. So, if you will.
Start from the start. Are you up current or down current?
Current's coming towards me. This is the way most of us like it. Except for one fisherman we know that likes to fish down current. Very complicated. So if that's the pilot and the water's coming through the bridge, it's coming around that pilot, you don't want it moving too fast. You don't want, 9 times out of 10, fishing a 1.5 foot tide on the Causeway ain't a good thing. because it's just moving too fast. It's coming through too fast. The trout are probably still there, but they're probably way back here instead of right on the bottom. So what these trout are doing, I think, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, you're sitting behind this pine, just sitting there, swimming at a decent pace, ambushing bait. So we're back here in the boat, throwing up to the piling, bait hits, goes all the way down the pine.
So what you do?
That's the most accurate cast you've ever made.
We thank you. We pick it up and we let it flutter with the tide.
How do weight use for your chicken? Normally.
3/8 ounce to start, unless it's screaming, then you might want to use a half. But 3/8, some people like 5/16. You want it to get to, I like it to get to the bottom. I like to start at the bottom and then work it up. And so, here's the kicker. The tide doesn't flow directly through the causeway. At 12 miles, it does. If the tide's dropping out, it'll come straight across. That's the center of the bridge. At about 10, it does that too. Also. But if you're around the 4 mile from the North Shore, you got Goose Point behind you. So Goose Point throws it off a bit. So a lot of times, on an outgoing tide, if I am on the east side of the bridge, that tide's coming through the piling this way. So those fish would probably be back here with the traffic running like this. So, the mystery is figuring out where in the pie those fish are staged. According to the piling and the distance off of the piling. And when you figure that out, you got it. And it usually lasts for a couple of pilings. But guess what? You go 20 pilings down, things change. The time has changed. So the tide is doing something different, and you're in a different part of the bridge, which may be a little different. So you're always kind of, I don't want to get too deep into this, but you're trying to feel your bait. So when you toss up, and it hits, and it goes down, and you watch your line just go, whoa. It just drops off to nothing, you know you're in that eddy. And then you pick it up and hold on. Is that cool? Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, hey Sam. What happens with the Bonacari spillway? How long does it take the lake to recover
Yes, we're
when
good.
they open it?
Oh, I have no idea. The question was, how long does it take the lake to recover after opening the Bonacari spillway? I have no idea. Let's just pray they don't open it this year.
It took it 2 months this past opening. It was
Really?
quick.
Well, we opened last February, and we had no fall to speak of at the causeway. The trout just weren't on the causeway this fall, for some reason or another. So I'm thinking, this spring, it ought to be on. What lures do I use? If I had 2 to bring with me, one would be a matrix shad, three. One would be a matrix shad magneto. 2 would be a Berkeley gulp in camo. And number 3 would be a deadly slam salmon. I don't, I say I don't troll every now and then when it really gets bad and we just can't pick up anything, we'll put baits down and troll. And if you're trollers, we found that the best lure for trolling is a 3/8 ounce rattle trap in electric chicken. With the, it's got the pink back with the green, with the chartreuse belly, electric chicken. Troll 2 pounds behind the boat. I gotta tell you, I'm not a fan of trolling.